Hi, welcome back to another solo episode of Mindfully Thrive. This week it's all around my awakening to an abstract concept, I think, but it's based on ancient wisdom of the Kabbalah, and I wonder if I'm able to explain it to you in a way that you resonate with. So I have spent the last week really trying to hone in on my authentic code. I've spoken to you about, last week I mentioned the To Be Magnetic Authenticity Challenge that I've started, and I'm really digging deep into finding out what my authentic code looks like at this moment. I do think it evolves and changes. It has for me since the first time I did it last year. Anyway, as I was working through this authenticity challenge, lots of words have come up, such as grace, generosity, impact, beauty, and so on. So those are 4 key words that I'm resonating with in what my authenticity looks like. Aside from that, I've also noticed that I've had quite a bit of pain in my right shoulder for the last few months now, and it only really starts hurting when I'm in bed at night. And as life is so magical, I've been listening to the work of the Kabbalist David Guillen, I think is pronounced, David Guillen. I listened to him first on years ago on the My Human Design podcast with Jenna Zoe, and he was featured in this week's podcast on the School of Greatness with Lewis Howes. And so he's come up again and again, and this time I'm really starting to listen to his message because I feel like it was a sign that I needed to listen to. So how do all these things sit and fit together? I wasn't getting enough from the conversations, and so I decided to go to Spotify and look into Kabbalistic meditations and other sources of Kabbalah. And I started doing a meditation. I think it's the first one in Spotify that came up. And it talks about the tree of life. And in human design, some of the elements within human design are based on the Kabbalah, the tree of life. Parts of your body, a little bit like the chakra systems. Now, I don't know enough about this to explain it in detail, but what I want to get to is how the right shoulder and arm are connected to love and kindness. And it hit me like a light bulb that I have been very resentful in everything that I'm doing. And that takes quite a bit of honesty for me to say that. It's not easy to wake up to this realization that yes, I help, I do things, I care for people. I take my dog out. I'm a teacher. But most of my days, ultimately, lately, I've been focused more on feeling a little bit more resentment towards the things I'm doing rather than approaching things with love and kindness. For example, driving to school, I get irritated by people crossing the road, usually because we're late. I get irritated by the red lights, thinking I'm not going to make it on time. There's a lot of negativity in my mind as a reaction to situations that are showing up for me. And so I took a deep breath, and I actually began to smile when I realized that this was connected to the pain that I've been feeling. So what could I do about it? And how does it actually really look like to show up with love and kindness? Because it's not just about the hugs and the affection towards the people that you love. It's also about reaching out and seeing what's in front of you that is leading you either towards love and kindness, in my case, or am I blind to it? Do I not even see the path in front of me? And having been practicing mindfulness for so many years now, it really has hit me this week how being consciously aware of the present moment, the universe, source, the creator, God, lays out things in front of you to help you deepen those shadows or the scars or those improvements that you need to make on yourself. And real life situations. So I had this awakening as I was walking my dog, as I was listening to how the loving kindness was all connected to my shoulder. And I really, really felt it. I really felt like, yes, this is true. This is the truth for me. So I asked, following the Kabbalah, I asked the Creator to show me opportunities to help heal or feel the pain even further. So if this is the case, plant me the seeds in front of me that I need to witness to allow me to step into practicing the art of love and kindness, like real life moments. And so I walked the dog, and as I got back to the flat, I live in a flat, there was a lady standing in front of the front door. So it made it a little bit awkward for me to use my key. Already I'm in judgment. A little bit irritated. Anyway, I open the door. She follows me up the stairs. And that piece of me goes, well, we've got 2 lifts. So I could just get in the first one and she can get in the second one. But I was like, no, I can do more than that. She can come with me. So she comes in the lift with me. I live on the 4th floor. She was going up to the 7th floor. In the time it took from going from the ground floor to the 4th floor, she'd expressed how fearful she was of travelling in lifts alone. How she had trauma when she was very young, that she got trapped in a lift, and ever since then she's not been able to travel in lifts by herself. And she had a panic because she was needing to go from the 4th floor to the 7th floor on her own. Now, she wasn't asking me to do anything. She was just expressing how this was a concern for her. And how she regrets ever getting in that lift because the trauma has paralysed her in moving through it. And I'm still thinking, well, you could walk from the 4th floor to the 7th floor until it hits me. And thankfully it hit me in that moment that this is a gift presented to me. This was what I had been reaching for, asking for, opportunities to show up and practice love and kindness. It takes me nothing of my time really to travel up to the 7th floor with her and to come back down to the 4th floor. And this is what is the magic of life. I don't think it goes much deeper than that. We are always being presented with moments where we can step into those habits or those shadows that we're not necessarily seeing in detail. And it's in these moments where we grow, and the joy of the magic of just noticing that I'd been given that gift lit me up so much. And always doing acts of kindness makes you feel good. I recognize that. But beyond that, it was like my prayer had been answered to show up and be awake in that moment. Because I could have easily just continued about my day and not even registered that that lady was there for me as a gift to me to improve my acts of love and kindness. Now, I'm not saying that I've healed my shoulder, but the shoulder pain is actually keeping me awake to how I'm showing up in the day. They talk about in the Kabbalah how, for example, someone who has anger issues, how we're being presented and provoked to test that anger all day long by those that surround us. And I see it in one of my daughters, with the other daughter, the prodding, just to rile up that sense. How quick can she reach the anger? And what I'm trying to get the message through to my other daughter who responds with anger is that it's so obvious that that's what she's here for, to transform the anger. So it no longer is something that she's carrying around with her. So she's opening her heart more and more. And David Guillem, I think I really want to get his surname right, but I do suggest you go and find his Spotify. I will put it in the show notes. Discussed, and it's such a perfect analogy how when we go to the dentist looks around all our teeth, checks it with that metal sharp proddy thing, and starts scratching away and tapping and tapping. And when we feel the pain, it's the beginning of a cavity. And the more he taps at it, the more he recognizes that that is the tooth that has decay, the cavity, the negativity. And we don't get angry at our dentist for spotting the negativity in us. We don't want our dentist to just shine a light on all the beautiful, healthy teeth. We need the dentist to spot and dig at and tap at the negativity so that we can keep healing it and work on it and fix it. And so he talks about how everybody that comes into our aura, our area, our zone, and lights up something negative in us, our shadow, or those things that we need to heal to grow, are all dentists to us. They're there to tap away until we begin to notice how can we transform this niggle, this aspect of ourselves, to become more harmonious, more like the Creator, more aligned, whatever word resonates with you. And so I've been carrying that thought with me as I go about my days, really trying to practice being in the present moment, surrounded by interactions with others, especially in the workplace, in the classroom. Recognizing the triggers, and they're just opportunities for me to pass the tests, to feel more aligned in who I am. And not giving love and kindness for the other, but because it's actually healing me, dissipating that resentment, or I don't even want to say the word resentment, but dissipating that instant reaction to find fault or to condemn or to complain or criticize. And I actually feel so much more alive and more connected and open to recognizing that in myself, above and beyond any faults in anyone else. And not for wanting of something or to manifest anything, but to fine-tune who I am and my magic, and how I can be more authentic and not shut my heart off because I feel like that is accumulated over time, and maybe I've become tired of doing certain things for other people, not necessarily getting the recognition that my ego requires. And over time, it's felt like more and more I've become oblivious to how I've morphed into somebody else, where love and kindness is actually not prevailing. And so my theme for this week, within the authentic code is to really tap into my grace. And that's where I hone in that love and kindness aspect of who I am. Now, I don't know if this serves you. It's a story that just resonated so deeply with me. I am spiritual, but I'm not religious. I am loving discovering more and more about the Kabbalah. It resonates so simply for me. And we'll see how that evolves. And this week in the Authenticity Challenge, I've really honed in on, my authentic code and what that means. So everything around what it is I'm trying to create keeps coming back to those 4 key words. I will link here the authentic code words that you can actually go and check out. What it asks you to do, and it's a really fun thing because I'm super interested and love ChatGPT also currently for all sorts of answers. So there is is it called a viral going around where people are putting in their dream life scenarios and they're asking ChatGPT to come up with a day in the life version for them of that dream life. And this worked in a similar way. So if you pick 10 to 20 words from the authentic code, keywords, that really resonate with who you are in this moment and what you feel are the values, the core values or your heart's calling for you in this time, you then enter those into ChatGPT and you'll ask it to put it into 4 buckets. And these 4 buckets will then clarify to you your main 4 outlooks in life, or the main 4 aspects of your life that you want to work towards, whether it's creativity and expression, whether it's family and home, whatever it looks like. You can then ask it to give you a dream life scenario, say for 5 years' time. And then you can ask it to break down a goal setting plan to take you there, what it might look like for you to get to that dream life from where you are right now. It's really fun. Treat it lightheartedly. Remember, it's a machine. But it's really eye-opening to see that all of these things, that we are meant to have everything that we desire. We're meant to feel, as a generator, I'm meant to feel satisfied in all areas of my life. As a projector, you're meant to feel successful, not in just one area, in all the areas of your life that you could possibly want. And I genuinely believe that this is a state that all of us can achieve if we become a little bit more authentic and honest with ourselves. And as I found out this week, that part of that looks like being honest about how lacking in kindness I really am. That's a hard pill to swallow. But I'm here to grow and to move through it and to embrace all of these personal traits that I have and move onwards and look out, because I am here to be loving and kind to all of you. Anyway, that's just a story that I have that sums up where my head's at, where my moments are. And just remember to tap into the present moment so that you can really see what's in front of you. Everything that is paved out in front of you is a gift for you. He says to David Guion, my new spiritual crush or whatever you want to call it, I don't know. He says to pause and pleasure. Pause and pleasure. So take a minute when you see something reacting in yourself, when you see you're being triggered, pause, take a breath, and you suggest, with pleasure, this is offering itself up to me. So with pleasure, I can transform this feeling. What does the opposite of this feeling look like? And is this feeling really true to who I am? Or is this just a reaction, a habit, a trait that I've developed over time. So what is my true personal calling in this moment? So remember, pause and just be with it and give thanks. And I will be in touch again next week. All the best. Have a great week and keep your eyes open and your heart open, and your soul will come through.